giving up your pub time on a Friday afternoon to come to see our presentation. The idea today is this is a joint presentation between VCCP London and VCCP Spain on how to cook. Oops, sorry, how to how to cook a big idea, there we go. Yes. Where we're going to try to blend together British strategy and Latin creativity into a mouth-watering recipe for you. Now, it's possible that one or two of you don't know which one's which out of us two. Which one's the glamorous Argentinian executive creative director and which one is the dour British planner. So for the avoidance of any doubt, I'm the planner. I'm Charles Vallance, the founding partner of VCCP London, and I'm a planner by trade. This young gentleman is Alberto, sometimes known as Beto Nahmad, who is our executive creative director in Madrid, is Argentinian by birth. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a double act for you. And I think what we're going to do first is Beto's going to give us a little bit of background to the idea behind this talk.
Hello, everyone. The idea was to come here with Charles to give an experimental about fusion between British strategy, Latin creativity, companies that generate more for ideas, big ideas at the end of this kind of fusion. And the idea is cooking ideas. So there's a hashtag. And I have an idea that I propose to the D&AD. I'm Argentinian, you know. Someone is from South America here? Argentinian? No? What? More or less? Well, then you know Argentina will have the best meat in the world. That's it's not true. España? Spain? Which one? Argentina? Yeah. Okay. And so I propose the D&AD to prepare an asado and barbecue Argentinian food. Meanwhile, Charles will talk about strategy, British strategy. And now my team will bring the meat and I will cook like
Yes, let's go.
It's a little bit ridiculous, but the meat will be incredible. It's okay. This also, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I spoke with them, and we were preparing all the meat and everything, and they called us 4 days ago, and they said that they had a little problem with the health department of the D&AD, and it's a problem to put meat here because of the smoke and everything. I say, fuck off, man. It's a big idea. And I proposed a second approach because it's time for lunch. Are you hungry or you're okay? Great. And I say, okay, we cannot cook meat because of health. Let's prepare choripan. Choripan is a kind of sausage with bread, and it's chorizo, it means sausage, and pan, it means bread. It's easy, it's not so complicated, and I said, please, maybe not, we are not going to do a lot of smoke and say, okay, let us sing it. And they called me yesterday, and they say, it's impossible to cook here. I say, fuck off. I have to take this out. I say, but I'm proposing, we have the bread, because yesterday we bought the bread.
We all have bread.
We are going to give you bread. Because you are hungry. Bread with cheese. And I ask you a big applause for the girls.
so we had to come up with an alternative, sorry.
We are going to try to explain what the hell could be the fusion between Latin's and British essence, because there are a lot of things that we have in common, there are a lot of things that we have different. Sorry if my English is not quite perfect, but I will try to speak like Charles.
I'll try to speak like better.
Let's try it. Let's start with the beginning. First of all, we should add some Latin tradition to the mix, to this cooking recipe. And you said you are from Spain. Normally, if you're not Latin, if you're not Spanish, you think about this. The typical torero or the bull is a topic. And if we think about the British character, at least we think about this. And this is a kind of reality, but it's not. We are not like this. We are not like this Latin. We are not toreros. We are not like these British persons.
We're not like our stereotypes. And having said that, this wouldn't be. I wouldn't be doing my part of the presentation if we didn't do a little bit of strategy and trying to find impose some definition and structure on today's talk. So the question I posed to Beto was, what do we both mean when we, someone from England, someone from Argentina, when we approach a talk like this? What does it mean in our head? And I asked Beto, God, what's your version of an English talk? And he actually quoted back at me, probably the most famous line in the English language, certainly the most famous question in the English language, which we're going to get Laurence Olivier to perform for us today at great expense. So this is what a talk means for the British. I think this is going to work. Do I play anything, or we just play this video?
Yeah, maybe the next play. Louder, please.
Or not to be? That is the question.
There you go. But yes, we're sorry, we missed the beginning of that. Now, when I was persuaded to do this from Beto and actually Dario, who's over here somewhere, I said it's going to be awful because it's going to be like, and again, not everybody will have heard of these two, but it's going to be like Eric and Ernie, where there's the double act, where I'm the unfunny one, who's the butt of all the jokes, and then he's going to have all the best lines and wear a chef outfit, which is exactly what's happened. But then in the process, because they hadn't heard of Morecambe Wise, they went and found this clip. And little did I know that it has actually been covered by Eric Morecambe. So let's see if we can get the volume up from the start. Here it goes. This is a trip down memory lane.
Hey, Shakespeare, I've no idea who he is. I was handed to me. To be? Or not to be? What are you doing? I was doing it, then when you interrupted. What are you doing? Doing what? Eh? Doing what? Shakespeare's soliloquy from Hamlet. It should be the other way around. It's these types. There's nothing I can do about that.
Very childish, very childish. But there is, I think, a big difference in the manner, the way we express ourselves. And we're going to illustrate what a talk means from a Latin perspective with a radio ad for Cine Las Americas. Well, let's say the approach to public speaking is a bit more energetic and a bit more animated. Good.
If we can put louder the sound, please.
We go forward.
Yeah.
So this is what a talk means to Latins. We can play this radio ad.
Maybe you have to put the And I want to, meanwhile they prepare this, everyone finish the sandwich or there's, I'm hungry.
If we remove the helicopters from this action movie, if we remove the shooting, and And if we remove the explosions, we're left with Hugo Chavez, president of Venezuela, expelling the ambassador of the United States on a broadcast across all national networks in September 2008. If our reality sounds like an action film, imagine our films. Cine Las Americas Latin American Film Festival, April 24th through the 29th, Austin, Texas.
That's one way to expel an ambassador. Now, Beto's going to talk a little bit more about some famous Latin speakers.
Yeah. Luckily, we are not everyone like Hugo Chavez, but Latin speakers, they're really good. Some of the best speakers in the world, they are Latins, and they spread the message with some words, and when you hear him, you say, wow, it's amazing how he speaks. And this person is...
What is it?
You know, everyone knows Leo. He's a great speaker, he's a very good player. No, it's not basically about a joke. It wasn't the Pope. The Pope is one of the best speakers in the world. He's Latin, he's Argentinian, and he's very curious how he changed the perception of the religion of the church and the Catholic people in the world with just words and actions. He's a very close person. He transformed the perception. I'm not Catholic, and I believe in the church now. I believe in the Pope, I believe in the people that I'm proud of him, and I think with a good speaker is Latin, and change some things. And we have some data about the next slide.
Yeah, sorry, into the next slide. Yeah, it's an amazing, he has had an amazing impact in every media. So, in social media in particular, is, I think it's now 20 million followers if you look at both English and Latin speakers. And of course, I think everyone understands, I think we'd all agree that the great ideas are built on a belief or a purpose or a passion. But for us Brits, we quite like to underpin that emotion with a bit of strategic discipline and a little bit of rationality. So if you like, we quite like to begin by asking why. I think sometimes we do too much of this, but because we have lots of models and systems for creativity, we have brand keys, brand worlds, brand triangles, pyramids, temples, we have behavioural decision-making processes, we have customer journeys. I think sometimes that can actually suppress creativity. I use this photo because I think it says down the bottom, that's 1.8 million views, his TED to Simon Sinek. He seems very fashionable at the moment. He asks these three simple questions: why, how, what? So we, and indeed at the creative brief, often the most important part of the creative brief is why should people believe what we're telling them? We can't say, we're not the Pope normally. Normally we're doing something that's slightly more commercial than what the Pope does. So we need some evidence. But that said, I don't think there's anyone, whatever nationality they are, that would argue that the head actually is much less influential than the heart. Particularly, I think, in the last 15 years, neuroscience and behavioural economics have shown we very, very, very rarely make rational decisions. Most of our decision making is emotional. And we know this ironically because we can prove it mathematically. There's no room for sentiment or emotion when talking about the heart if you're British. You can make everything very rational. And this is a chart from the long and the short of it, which is a paper that looks at all the most effective ad campaigns in the UK for the last 20 years, and the degree to which they're rational communications model or emotional communications model. And it shows that essentially emotional communication is much more effective at generating profits, more or less twice as effective. And that's something I think we'd intuitively know. Of course, in the case of a lot of the best work that we see from Spain and Latin America, that's probably something that doesn't need proving. That's something that is already a belief. But Beto's going to give a couple of examples.
Yeah, for lessons, we need a passion. It's sometimes we think with the heart instead of thinking with the head. And it's good for some things, for sports, for to cook, to write, to direct films. This is David Munoz, is a very passionate cooker in Spain. He's a very good chef, and his rabbi passion is famous because he's a non-typical chef. He has his own personality with a kind of different, not classic chef. And he has a lot of restaurants. He's one of the best cooker, and he's very strong in social media. He posts a lot of information about what's happening in his life. Not only talking about cuisine. He's a fanatic of Atletico Madrid. The same color that River Plate is my team. The best team in Argentina, obviously. And I want to introduce a little story about my case. I was 20 years. I came from Argentina to Barcelona, and I was very alone, very far away from my family, from my friends, and every Saturday at 2 a.m., because we have difference between Argentina and Spain, I watched our matches, the River Plate between different teams. And one day, I was in a bar alone, 2 a.m., not a very important match, and with my t-shirt of River Plate, and there on another table with other people from River Plate, they come and say, "Oh, what's your name? Beto, and you work at this." They told me that they had a fan club, River Plate in Barcelona, and if I want to join them, I say, "Of course I want to. I'm alone. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I don't have girlfriend." And I say, "And how many people are in the fan club? River Plate fan club in Barcelona?" 3, and you 4. Okay, it's a pity because in Barcelona we were like 100,000 Argentinians, possibly 50% of them, 50,000 Argentinian River Plate fans, and they don't know that there exists River Plate fan club. I say, I work in advertising. Why we don't make a campaign for the River Plate fan club? I say, okay, great. I tell them to create a stand in a Camp Nou, Barcelona Stadium, Argentina, Catalonia, and to make a promo that plastic bottles, and you can come to the stand and say and shout inside the bottle, say, "On River!" And we put all the shouts inside the plastic bottle, and we send the bottles to Argentina. And this campaign was in all the media, and at the end with passion and a lot of heart, intelligence, we created this campaign, and it was a famous campaign in all the media in the world. And I don't want to put the video now because the next campaign is more actual, and it's about football also.
This also illustrates one of the other points we're going on to, which is about making something happen rather than just communicating, actually being part of the story. Because in the end, we all know that it's about getting the right recipe, which is not precise about these things, but it's nearly all heart and a little bit of head. And funnily enough, this is something I learned when I did my sort of second job in advertising when I went to BBH in the late 1980s. And they were running a campaign for Levi's, which was all about product demonstration. to show that it had better quality denim, better stitching, better rivets, better design. And this is one of their product demonstration ads that they ran, I think in 1986. It is very 80s. Let's see what you think. You can see that the sound designer had a field day there. He really went to town. And I remember my boss at the time, a chap called Nigel Bogle, doing a presentation, doing a case study, saying, the thing with that advertising, which was quite mad at the time, is it didn't sell a single pair of jeans. Apparently they ran that and about 2 other ads, and the sales just were flat. It did not register. And it didn't register because it didn't connect with people emotionally. Actually, Levi's and jeans aren't about stitching and the quality of the denim. They're about emotion. They're about youth. They're about rebellion, message, girls and boys. And when BBH worked that out, they produced this commercial, which you may have seen. You play the video. That's the ad that started selling jeans. In fact, sales went up on 501, sales went up 8-fold. And there, did you see the 2 tiny bits of product information in there? I don't really notice, but there was, in the brief, there was stone wash, which is why the stones went into the washing machine, and shrink to fit, but that's not the point of the ad. So we've sort of seen one of the big rules, which is you've got to win people's hearts before you win their heads. And the next one, which Beto is going to talk to, is about simplicity, sort of personal experience.
Yeah, simplicity is important to connect with everything. And I want to speak first about British simplicity, British strategy, and how can a little strategy can save a lot of lives. I was in London for the first time in my life when I was 17, like last year. I was walking in the street and suddenly I was crossing the street and I stopped and I signaled to save my life. Because when you are from South America playing, the cars went to the other side, you know. And look left signal is a British simple way of connect with the world and save a lot of lives. And this fucking signal at the end is a symbol for me. I talk with Charles and say, that's true, I never saw that.
Yeah, that's it.
But it says British simplicity. It's amazing. And for Latins, this simplicity is very emotional also, and this idea I found it in Argentina, in a bar with the crisis and everything, and it was a sign in the street. You were walking the street in Argentina. He says, "Come a coffee, 14 pesos. Coffee please, 12 pesos. Good morning, coffee please, 9 pesos." So the most closer you are to the people, the less you pay. And this is a metaphor of what happened in the Latin community. If you are close to the people, everything's going to be easy. And speaking of to be close or not, it's a thing that we discovered last week. There's in Asia, in South Korea, there's a trendy movement called mukbang trend, and it's about that people like to be close to the other persons. And this mukbang trend is about that the people in South Korea, they are far away from their families, and when they are eating at home, they share the dinner with other people in the world. They put the camera and say, "I want to share my risotto or my
Noodles.
noodles." And 1 million people are looking to it. Meanwhile, you're eating. People, wow. And it's good, curious how sometimes people need to share these moments and the simplicity with other ones. And this Vallance idea is a simple way to demonstrate that something, the simplicity and some insights. Vallance is a typical sport brand for skateboarders. And if we have to find insights of them, it's in music, because 100% of the skateboarders is correct, yeah? Skateboarders listen music meanwhile they are skating. And 100% of them, one time in life, they broke a leg, an arm. And with this tweeted, we created a special program last year for band shop in Madrid. It's called Broken Bones Records, and it's about the radiography that you have in your house, because you never throw away the radiography. It's there, what to do with this and with music.
You play the video.
Life in general is much better with music, not just in skateboarding. Imagine watching a video without music, or walking down the street with earphones. It's nicer. But it's true that in skateboarding, it makes you want to push harder and go higher. Everybody has a favorite song that motivates.
Nos trae una demografía, hacemos una corta haciéndolo y devolvemos la demografía convertida en un disco musical.
El médico que aún tiene diferencias que tienes que reforzarla para hacer la forma redonda de la doctora cocinar, ponerla en el plato y aquí empiece a grabar o cortar la
But a tremendously simple idea. Well, the two things that unite skaters: music and broken limbs. So put them together. And that's often the benchmark or the acid test for a really strong idea is the simplicity. Another rule or ingredient we think is populating culture. People now are bombarded with commercial messages. We know that. In fact, that's why ad blocking has developed so fast. So we can't talk at them, we can't interrupt them. The most successful way for a brand to communicate now is to contribute to the culture it wants to be a part of, which is why we talk about populating culture. And that's about doing something interesting, something entertaining, something useful, something that people will want to talk about and share. It's interesting that in the UK, I think often we forget just how much popular culture is second nature to us, how we sort of play with it, develop it, how we export it. And it's something potentially we overlook. And to illustrate this point, Beto and Dario very kindly got me this. I think they've got my age slightly unfair, from about 1932, but they use Speaker's Corner as an example. And I suppose in a way it is an example of the openness of our culture and the way it invites people to participate. But I'd rather prefer to remind our Latin friends that although they may have got quite good at football, we invented it. And we'll meet you in France in the summer to see how things go on football pitch.
But this goal was sent time ago.
I know. I got the wrong news, which I couldn't change in time. Also, parliamentary democracy, that's having its ups and downs at the moment. That was another little invention from us. And actually, I found this quite a surprise. This is a soft power report from last year, which is about cultural influence. And strangely, because you wouldn't expect it, the UK actually is ahead of America in terms of cultural influence. Obviously, the English language is a part of that, but it's also to do with other cultural factors in terms of music, film, the arts, diplomacy, and many other, economic as well. Interestingly, Spain is going up through the ranks, as are countries like Mexico. And I think as Spanish becomes more and more of a world language, we'll see all these different countries move around. But it came as a surprise to me about the UK. You would have assumed that America would be top. I'm going to hand back to Beto, because populating culture in many ways is another kind of passion for Latin America.
Yeah, of course. At the end, for us, for Latins and for Spanish people, as we created football, football for us is passion as well. We were playing on the team, but we love football and we work a lot of football in VCCP, and La Liga here is the Premier League, it's like the Spanish Association of Football, call us to ask to make a campaign for the last match in the year. It's called Champion for Life. It's a benefit match with all the superstars playing in a big stadium, but they have laws that nobody goes to the stadium because it's a friendly match, and they want a great campaign. They want to make a big idea to make the people go to the stadium to see the celebrate on TV. And all the money that is created with this match is for UNICEF, for the kids in the world. It's a pity that you don't go to the stadium, because the problem is that the soccer players, the big Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, when they score in the match, they don't celebrate the goal, because you're not playing World Cup or Champions or the Premier League match. You may just score and say, and of course you're not going to watch it because there's no passion. And even if I create an incredible campaign, it's impossible to ask the people to go to the match. And we told to the La Liga, I said, the problem is that your product is a shit. Maybe we have to recreate the product. And I said, okay, you have 1 week. And we came 1 week later and proposed them fact and insight that the players don't celebrate the goals, but in schools, when you are a kid, in Spain, here, when you score a goal in school, you celebrate the goal as the World Cup final match celebration, and you copy normally the goal, how they celebrate the goal Messi or Ronaldo, like the typical signals of any player, and the kids copy your idol. And we propose to do it in the best way, to ask the people, the kids, to send the celebrations, and the superstar will copy you. We did it, and it works real well.
No se me ocurre algo más grande que un futbolista profesional invite a la celebración, ¿no? Ya que como celebrar los ríos, tengo que estar ahí.
Con los medios que hay ahora lo van a tener grabado, van a estar en el campo en directo, les digo, va a ser uno de los días más felices de su vida.
Hemos en marcha un concurso para que los niños enviaran sus colaboraciones particulares y las hicieron como los futbolistas. Yo Batistao. Vamos a hacer una canción de Batistao, hermano. Zapatos son.
Familia, con amigos, en el Estadio Calderón hoy hemos asistido al partido de Champions for Life. En su segunda edición ha estado dedicado a la infancia y a la última montaña.
In Madrid for this very special match, Champions for Life.
Good evening, everybody. Now, a bit sport for choice.
And the lesson for us is that to tell a story, you first have to make a story happen. I think it's naughty girl. And that kind of comes back to the point I was making about people don't owe us their attention. They probably never did, but particularly now, there's so much more they can do with their time. There's so many distractions. So the best way to get them to hear your story is to make them part of your story. To become a story. So our next ingredient is story doing versus storytelling, and I think that was a lovely example of a piece of creativity that wasn't a piece of communication. It was an experience, it was a product, it was a story that was made by Beto and his team. Funnily enough, a lot of the best examples of this approach, I mean there are some great modern examples which I'm going to come on to, but a lot of this started over 100 years ago, because I suspect it wasn't a dissimilar time that the TV dominated our lives, not your young lives, but there was a time in the 80s and the 90s when you just had to be on TV. Now that's fading, and there's all these different media fragmenting, and people have to be more imaginative. So it's back to the future for a lot of communicators. And these were some of the great story doers. The Michelin brothers in 1900 thought, we make tyres, but how are we going to get people to buy cars and use those tyres? Well, we'll invent a restaurant guide that gets them out. They have to drive and they have to use their tyres. According to Wikipedia, which could well be wrong, there were only 3,000 cars in the whole of France when they invented this, and they printed 35,000 copies. So they were fairly confident it would work, and indeed it has worked, to the extent that we don't even associate it now with its core purpose. So that was a marketing invention, a piece of story doing. Another is the Tour de France, which was invented by a French sports newspaper, which was in a circulation battle with Le Vélo. This one, the one that invented Tour de France, was called Lauto. And it said, well, the way to increase circulation is let's create a national cycling event. We can sell all our newspapers nationally, and we'll win the circulation war. And that's how the Tour de France was invented, by this newspaper. And indeed, Lauto did win the circulation war. It's this idea of creating the experience and making the story. I was involved in one example with O2 when the Dome, so many of you will remember the Dome before it became the O2, which was essentially a bit of a laughing stock. No one really knew what it was for, no one really went there. But O2 is when they wanted to do a sponsorship property, rather than badge, I don't know, a music festival or a football club. They said, well, no, let's actually work with a partner. The partner was AEG to create a music venue which will be popular, which we will have unique access to, which we can offer special advantages and privileges to our customers, and that became known as Priority. And slowly, O2 have built this property, which is a piece of story doing, into a huge asset for the brand, a huge differentiator. That could have been £5 million a year advertising campaign. It could have been a shirt sponsorship of a Premiership team, but the new approach meant that they were more innovative, and that's been delivered for them many times over in terms of payback. Another example, talking about brand experiences, comes from Beto. I think I'll play the video like this. So if you wanted to discuss Cocinando, and then
Corte Inglés is one of the famous brands in Spain. It's a big brand that it's a big retailer that sells clothes, food, tickets, travel, and they also sell insurance, but nobody knows that they will sell. And we bring the value of experience. The employees of Corte Inglés will live, experience in their own skin to feel what the sensation is to feel an accident, a car accident, for example. And the beginning they thought they were crazy, but at the end we did it, and you have to pay attention because we are going to see it real life. We're real life accident, and I'm very curious what happened.
Soy Pedro Nahmad, asesor del Corte de Seguros en León, y voy a tener un accidente de coche. Ahora voy a saber mucho más lo que es un accidente de coche. Yo creo que para mi trabajo es muy positivo y espero transmitirlo bien a mis clientes.
Sorry,
No, ficción para nada. Lo he vivido bien y lo he vivido desde dentro, y la tensión que he tenido hoy, el miedo que he tenido hoy ha sido alucinante. A los clientes les pasa esto todos los días. Por desgracia es muy duro, pero así es, y esto pasa todos los días. Vale la pena, sí o sí.
Well, it's a really huge campaign. The value of experience is won a Lion, we won an Effie, involved in the Effie Awards. It works a lot. Sometimes the story doing things help you to create a brand in a different way.
Yeah, and to connect with people, because people connect with experience, obviously. So that was our fourth ingredient. Our fifth ingredient is a about sharing. Food is all about sharing. Beto is going to talk about shared values and how that can lead to big ideas.
Yeah, I was investigating and thinking about what are the shared values between British history and Latin and Spanish history also. There's a lot of things that we have in common. Shared culture. You know what is this? No?
Yeah.
All kind of, for us it's Isla Maghreb. We shared it.
That's also.
In the past. This is Gibraltar. It's a place that is located in Spain, but it's the British place. So we have an historical past. We share some moments, and now in the present, young British people like to go holiday partying on the Spanish coast. You came to Spain, you party, the sand, incredible. I know that you don't drink anything, and only water. And the other way, Spaniards and Latins came to London to start a new job in your life, because here in London you have a lot of opportunities, culture, and fresh mindset and job, obviously. So sometimes we cross these ingredients, and we, with Rio, we found this really curious thing that in Spain we eat pescado frito, and in UK you eat fish and chips. It's the same, it's fish fried, and we have a lot of things in common. If we investigate more, we can find another thing. Shared values mean shared culture. This is one of the last ingredients of the barbecue, and this is one of the shared values that we have. David Beckham scoring a goal between Argentina in 2002. We were kicked out in a World Cup, and this is shared value. It's historical past also. And the last picture that I want to show, I'm Argentinian. I don't know if you remember this picture. You know what is this? Yeah. There's a hand of God, and I was speaking with Charles, and he says, I don't know if it was hand or not. And I said,
you said that.
I know. We were champion, and Charles wanted to see the video again because he noticed that maybe it was ham.
I think so. Can we play the video? Thank you.
Thank you.